was working a frame shop, and he came in with this handsome leather jacket and jeans on, a debonair southern accent. And he said, "Hello ma'am, I would like to frame a photo." And I'm like, "Photo? You don't hear that very often in California."
Wow. First off, I don't want to go through and say that I was raised the way you're supposed to be raised. My parents did a good job. Any of the mistakes that I've gotten into are my own self-inflicted. I've gone through drugs, alcohol, sleeping with about any woman that I could possibly sleep with. I was never faithful to anybody that I was ever with, or ever around. Didn't think I was capable of being faithful. Fighting, just pretty much whatever. I was not a thief or anything of that nature, but I know I broke my parents' heart numerous times, and I broke her heart. Sure disappointed my children. I knew what was wrong and what was right. I chose to jump into the middle of it and roll. But I spoke more loudly for the devil than I ever did for God. And I'm trying to make sure that that gets corrected now.
I come from a background of heavy metal, headbanging, tie-dye shirts, tight clothing, hippie environment with pot in the background. Everybody's smoking pot. I did myself. Alcohol, parties, anything you can think of. Just, you know, an ungodly situation. And much like Thomas, I was raised the right way. My mom was a Leave It to Beaver mom who died of breast cancer when I was 16. And I've always struggled ever since she died, trying to find myself, trying to find God, trying to find everything in life. And when Thomas and I met, it was like a little piece of me had been put back together. When we started going through our problems, I lost myself. And there's no worse feeling in life than to be lost. Lost without hope. And ultimately, that means lost without God.
I left to go out of town in September of '04, and we were having problems, but I didn't realize how bad the problems must have been. I came back home and was told that I was no longer wanted, needed, cared about, and she wanted a divorce, which completely dropped me, because one thing I ever believed in that would always be with me was going to be Angela, and it wasn't happening. Not having my children would be worse than death for me, because they're my world.
I put him through a lot. I put him through way, way too much. And I can just tell you right now, he should not be with me.
Everything around me was pretty dark. Funny, I quit drinking, and it wasn't because she asked me to. I just quit drinking when I probably should have started drinking a lot more. I started listening to 91.9, and I always thought the Christian radio stations and music was kind of a joke. They were just kind of silly, pretentious kind of people. Yet every day I found myself going back to the same 91.9. The music, I started listening to the words to it. And I actually had feelings of hope that I had no reason to have, because there was nothing that was going right in my life whatsoever. Our problems had overwhelmed me, and I pretty much wanted to die. And I prayed for death, but I didn't get it, as you can see, because I'm talking to y'all now.
But he started coming home, and instead of seeing bottles of alcohol on the counter, and I saw hope in his eyes, and I saw him sitting over the Bible. I heard him listening to 91.9, and it changed him. And I didn't know what to think about it, but I thought at that time he was crazy.
And the words were a lot better than listening to Highway to Hell or Hell's Bells, because there wasn't a whole lot of hope in that music. And I listened to that since, well, probably almost the last 30 years.
But then I started listening to some CDs he had, and also to 91.9, and I found myself feeling a little bit more hope. And then it started growing, and just the love for each other started growing as well.
I See Love, I See Grace. All I was seeing was divorce, pain. I don't know who I'm living with. I don't know who I am. I don't know anything. Then you start hearing I See Love and I See Grace, and you start looking around, and kids are still healthy. She does smile at me every once in a while. At times, I want to smile at her. Something's going right. Which, we finally started to talk about it. We had the same song stuck in our head, and it was a common ground that we finally had. We started to talk about stuff. And talk about these things. It opened a lot more doors up.
It tells you and explains with their music about real life situations, real people who are struggling just like you are. And it just helps you realize through the music that, hey, you're not alone. We're all sinners. We all need God.
And the one thing, too, they would have the callers, the radio people would call in, and I would hear their stories of how their lives were being torn to pieces. And my life in a lot of ways wasn't so bad.
And it has made a humongous difference in our lives, not only as a couple, a married couple, bringing us closer to God, but also for our children, being good parents. I don't know how to say it, but
it was a tool that was used, that God used y'all as a tool.
But 91.9 really helped. I'm glad he's with me still, and it is a miracle.